story of an ice cube, in this case, Babette. Here's where we begin. The ice cubes in a bag, in a cooler. And our hero of the story is her. No, wait, it might be her. It's too confusing. They all look the same, but you'll get to know soon enough. This is Babette. She's a red ice cube. Let's skip the details, shall we? One day, Babette was in a bag with the rest of the red ice cubes, and a human hand grabbed them and took them away. The human dumped the ice cubes into a beaker, and another human stuck a stick and wedged it in between two ice cubes. The ice cubes had no idea what was going on. A red line in the stick shot up. The ice cubes were both excited and confused. Amongst them was Babette. I finally figured out who she was. The beaker was put on a hot plate. Hot! All of the ice cubes screamed in unison, but no humans heard them. Babette had to admit, it was kind of fun until all her friends melted into a liquid. In this case, water. "Oh no," she shouted. Oh well, maybe being a liquid wasn't so bad. She was more free now. She could move around, still inside the beaker, but she could move, and her friends were still with her. Not that bad, right? It seemed like the temperature on the hot plate increased because suddenly smoke began to curl out. Babette was shocked. What was going on? Soon all the liquid was gone. She was aghast, freed. She went wherever she wanted. Into the sky she flew. Her molecules were happy and exceptionally jumpy. They went wherever they wanted. They talked to other ice cubes' molecules. But Babette was curious. She was wondering what happened to her. So one of her molecules went and asked another molecule, what exactly happened? And the other molecule said, well, first you were Babette as an ice cube and a solid. The molecules inside you were really closely packed together. They didn't have much space to move around, so that's basically what was keeping you together. Then, the molecules inside you got heated up when they were on the hot plate, and they got excited and moved apart from each other. You became a liquid, in this case, water. Last but not least, you were gas. Now your molecules got really heated up, and they started going crazy. That's the phase you're in now. The molecules had moved apart and they had more space to move around because energy was given to them. The phase change from a liquid to a gas is called evaporation. Babette was a cloud. She was pretty happy. It had been a great adventure and it was finally the end, right? Suddenly, everything around her got cooler and it began to rain. Babette ended up as a puddle on the sidewalk. That's strange. She was a liquid again. It was so cold. Within time, Babette became from a liquid to a solid once again. This was even more perplexing and left Babette with more questions than ever. She went and asked another ice cube what was going on. The other ice cube knew. As a cloud, you were a gas, right? Said the ice cube. Yeah, I'm pretty sure of that, said Babette. And then it rained, right? Sure, said Babette. And now you're back here as an ice cube. Yeah, that's basically what happened, said Babette. The process when you were raining was called condensation. That's spelled Condensation. That basically means you were going from a gas back to a liquid because the weather around you was getting colder. And then, of course, when the rain came together on the ground, you became a big puddle of water or liquid. Then it started getting really chilly, right? Well, I guess Babette said. So the molecules in the liquid started to come together and it made you a solid again, which is what you're now, an ice cube. Here, let me explain it in more clear words. Babette was first a solid. Her intermolecular distance was very small, and her molecules were really close to each other and only vibrating. And then energy was given to her molecules by the heat of the hot plate, and she became a liquid. The phase change is called melting. The intermolecular distance in the molecules in a liquid were different from those in a solid. They could move around, not too much, but they could move around. Then, as more energy was given to the liquid, it became a gas. The phase change was called evaporation. The gas molecules were really free. They had enough room to go wherever they want. They had no limits. But as the weather became colder, energy was taken away, and it started raining, and the molecules again came a little closer together. The phase change was called condensation. Then, as it even got more colder, the molecules inside the liquid began to come together, and it became a solid again. This process was called freezing. And on side note, 0 degrees Celsius is the melting and the freezing point. Okay, so before finishing, let me compare the differences between solid, liquid, and gas. Solids have a definite shape and a definite volume and a very, very small intermolecular distance. Liquids, on the other hand, have an indefinite shape but a definite volume and slightly larger intermolecular difference. What this means is basically the liquid will take shape to any container it's put in. Now, gases have an indefinite shape, an indefinite volume, and a very large intermolecular distance. That means they don't have a shape, they don't have a volume, they just are indefinite, basically. Babette had a great adventure. She learned something and she went through all the phases of matter. She couldn't wait to have another adventure. And that is when we come to the end of the story of Babette the Ice Cube.